Welcome back, Math 8. Today we are going to talk about the triangle sum theorem and how to find those missing angles when they're not quite so obvious like last time. So go ahead, take something to write with, something to write on, pause the video, and figure out the warm-up. Alright, so here are those answers. Take a moment, check them out. Remember that the angles inside a triangle all add up to 180 degrees. And then slope and y-intercept, remember our y equals mx plus b formula, where the slope is our m and the y-intercept is our b. Alright, so our goal for today is to solve the mostest, gnarliest missing angles using the triangle sum theorem. Now it sounds super scary, but I promise it's not going to be quite so bad. Our learner-right responsibility is to come to an agreement as a team. So if you're working with somebody, make sure that you're agreeing on the answers that you're getting. All right, so let's look at this one. We're going to solve for angle B. We're going to solve for this angle right here. And in order to do that, we need to remember something super important. And that is that when we see this symbol here, it means that both of those angles are exactly the same. So really, we're saying that the measure of angle A is congruent to the measure, oops, that's on an M, to the measure of angle B. So what we're going to do is we are going to add all of these up and set them equal to 180 degrees. So I'm going to say that this 2x plus 6 plus 2 times 3x minus 1, because both angle A and angle B are the measure 3x minus 1, equals 180 degrees. And then I'm just going to solve this problem like I normally would. So I'm going to distribute and write everything else exactly how it is because none of that's going to change. So that gives me 6x minus 2 equals 180. I'm going to combine my like terms. So I end up with 8x plus 4 equals 180. I'm going to use those inverse operations to get my variables all by itself on one side and all of my constants on the other. I'm going to say that 8x equals 176. I'm going to divide both of these sides by 8. And I'm going to end up with x equals 22. So now that I know that the measure of x is 22 degrees, I need to solve for angle B because that's what the question's actually asking. So now, since the measure of angle B is the same as angle A, I can say that the measure of angle B is 3x minus 1, which x we know is 22. So I'm going to say 3 times 22 minus 1 gives me 66 minus 1. So the measure of angle B is going to be 65 degrees. And that's our final answer. So now, I want you to try. You do not have to do all 3 of these. Obviously, you can if you want, but pick at least one of them to work on. Take a moment, pause the video, and see if you can find the angles for all 3 of the numbers. The letters. See if you can find the angle degrees for all 3 of the angles. Go ahead and pause the video. All right, and here are those solutions. So take a moment, check your answers, see if you can figure out where you made any mistakes, if you made any mistakes, and fix those. All right, now, I want you to try it again, but this time, if you notice, I've got 3 sets of right angles. So now you need to remember how much a right angle is worth when you try out these problems. So go ahead, pause the video, and give it a try. All right, so here are those answers. So go ahead, take a moment, check your work, see if you can figure out any place that you might have made a mistake if you made one, and how to fix it. All right, so one last problem, but it's the challenge problem. So you're going to try to find the value of x and y, and then you're going to find the missing angles inside the triangle. And even though there's 14 different angles here, once you find the 3 inside the triangle, you're good to stop. So don't feel like you need to solve for all 14. You absolutely can, but when I give the answer, it's not going to show that. So go ahead, pause the video, and see if you can figure out the answer. All right, now if you look at what I have, you'll see there's not a whole lot of angles that I actually solved for. I started with my 2 that I highlighted in green because I know that they're supplementary angles, so they make a straight line. So I set those both equal to 180 degrees, and I solved for x, which gave me 37. Now, since I only care about what the inside of the triangle is, I only put that 37 for x in for angle 8 inside the triangle, and I got that it was 76 degrees. Because I know that angle 8 is 76 degrees, I also know that angle 4 is 76 degrees because they are alternate interior angles. And I called that pretty good. Then I moved over to solving for the y. So I highlighted my 2 y's. I know that those are alternate exterior angles, so those are, I'm so sorry, they are not alternate exterior angles. They are also supplementary angles. So they add up to 180 degrees as well. So again, I set those equal to 180 degrees. I got that y was 22. So I then solved for angle 1, just because there's less multiplication having to happen that way. And so I said that 22 degrees plus 6 degrees equals 28. So angle 1 is 28 degrees. Now angle 1 and angle 9 both have the same degree. So I know that angle 9 inside the triangle is also 28 degrees. And then, since I know that with my triangle sum theorem, all angles inside a triangle add up to 180 degrees, I took the measure of angle 8, which is 76, plus the measure of angle 9, which is 28 degrees, and the measure of angle 5, which I didn't know, I added those together to get me 180. So when I solved for that, I got that the measure of angle 5 was 76 degrees. So hopefully you were able to get that as well. And if not, hopefully you're able to follow through the work. I tried to color code it as best I could. So take a moment, check that out. All right, and now the last and final part is our exit ticket, and it's going to be a challenge. I want you to solve for x and then find the missing angles for the triangle. So go ahead, pause the video, solve those problems, and that's the end. And I will see you later. Love you, bye.